God, that would be satisfying just to walk over and be like, snap that.
Jesus.
You know what
Seriously,
I
you're
mean? Like, no, I don't
man.
actually want to hurt it, but
Like a breadstick.
yeah, it's kind of, I'm not going to, but it's kind of like, you know, when your mate is.
I think he did already in the past, I bet. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Rex and this is Hobbies by the channel Incognito more. Obviously, internet story. Yeah, I guess this channel is now about in the field type of videos where he's going to sit around with one of his friends or something, or more than one, and he's going to talk about things like obviously hobbies this time. You know, at the start when I started to react to that kind of video, I'm like, I don't know, if I should react to this or not. But then I realized like how brilliant internet historian is. That he can just sit around with his friends, just talk about any random topic and make it really interesting, because everything he talk about is really like interesting things, right? And I realized like there's something, right, there'll be that I can relate to and talk about. So I'm like, yeah, why not? Let's watch it.
Brought to you by Waldorf Tanks. Hobbies. Hobbies. What are hobbies? Is rock climbing a hobby? All this and more on In the Field. All right, so do you have any hobbies?
I do, actually. I have many.
Really?
Yeah, swindling larger YouTube channels, that's probably the biggest one. But outside of that, I play Dungeons and Dragons every week.
Nerd.
Okay, well...
No, sorry, carry on. Sorry, I didn't realize my mic was on. Carry on.
Do you just have a big red button that you push to mute when you want to yell slurs? Tell me about your hobbies.
The older you get, the more maintenances around the house become your hobbies. I do quite a lot of gardening.
Old green thumb, eh?
I'm not amazing at keeping the plants alive or fruiting, but...
I am good at keeping them.
Yeah. Once in a while, landscaping as well. Like I rent the diggers and then I smooth out the dirt and such.
Chotu, ocha samay mein.
Otherwise, I watch a lot of YouTube.
So that's interesting because I don't.
Interesting.
I don't know if that makes me a bad YouTuber or a good one, because...
Oh, I've got my hand in the air. I have the answer to this one, Minikudo.
Am I a good YouTuber or not?
Bad! I want to guess bad YouTuber. Carry on, Minikudos.
Was it the awful...
Alright, I think, look, I don't know what type of videos he makes. I'm guessing it's similar to Internet Historian. I don't know, maybe. There you go. Yeah, it's some kind of a creative type of videos, right? Not everything is called creative content nowadays, but let's be honest, very few things are creative, right? If you make a proper piece on something like Internet Historian does, right? Some event happen, you create a script of it, you edit a video, right? That's a creative content. Vlogs and what I'm doing right now, reacts and shit like that, that's not creative, right? So creative content, if you make something like Oversimplified, Internet Historian, right, and many others, John Tron, if all this, if you make videos like that, like proper creative content, I think it's best if you don't stay too much on YouTube. Because if you're just too much on the internet, too much on YouTube and social sites, basically, your views can, your ideas can, shift in, and then you can get confused, like what you should do next or something, right? I don't know how else to explain this. Like, minorities might be the loudest, right? Now, whether it's, if somebody's in the comments suggesting them, or, maybe they've watched something, like what's the events are happening. Maybe they thought they should make a video about something. Then they realize that something else is blowing up. They're like, maybe I'm going to make a video about this. And then something else blows up immediately after that, right? Or something is trending, like maybe I'm going to make a video about it. They'll be confused a lot, right? So in that specific point, like where you should go creatively, if you want to be that, it's best to just focus on what you want to do and just stay on that and be little on internet, basically. I don't know. Apart from that, yeah, sure, why not?
videos or the lack of uploads?
I'd say both, sir.
Well, Timmy, maybe one day you too can put off uploading to your YouTube channel. Something I find interesting but I'd never do is those people who go like, I know what you call it, like dredging or magnet fishing, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Where you see these videos on YouTube and TikTok, which are probably like faked a lot of the time, but I'm sure they still, you find they're just so many
fuck is
guns.
that?
I love that
A
stuff.
minigun?
Watching people panning for gold, people like looking around with metal detectors and stuff. In fact, I was so into that stuff for a while, this is before I had a YouTube channel, that I bought a metal detector. And I went to his store and I'm like, come on, we're going to go down to a thing. We're going to go to a park or something. And we're going to find a creek and we're just going to like metal detect around. As soon as I had the metal detector in my hand, I was so embarrassed. I just felt embarrassed. I can't explain it.
The reality set in that you'd have to be the guy going metal detecting.
Yeah, and we went down to like this creek, and on the way there, you'd pass by people and you'd kind of like try to push the metal detector kind of behind their line of sight so they wouldn't see you. And then we got down there and boy, that metal detector was a real piece of shit. I didn't have much money at the time, so I just bought like the cheapest one. And so it only made a beeping noise when there wasn't anything.
That is the worst scenario.
I guess that could happen if your, I guess connections are crossed, right? Because when it detects something, it's supposed to, signal to the, speaker or something to make a noise. If the signals are crossed, like it will make a noise when there's something not there, but that would be instantly annoying, right? It would be constantly blaring out. When it's silent, everybody's like, oh, thank God he found something. At least it's not annoying.
Because it still works, but it's now incredibly annoying.
Loud and awful, yeah.
Like the idea that her story's so mad she leaves you and you have to walk home that day.
We didn't find anything except like one bottle cap, and then like on the way back we're like, oh, there's a beach, all right, fine, I'm gonna try the beach, and couldn't find anything. We're making this really loud fucking noise, people are looking at us, and then I went, all right, I'm not finding anything here, hold on, and I threw $2 into the sand to see if the thing would pick it up. It not only didn't pick it up, but then I lost the $2 in the sand. I lost money. Stupid fucking hobby, and I haven't been metal detecting ever since.
Well, negative results are still result. You lost money, but at least there's something related to money. Yeah, see, treasure hunting is one of those things, right? Like, want to become a pirate. When you're a kid, these two things are one of your top of the list, right? You want to become a pirate and you want to become a treasure hunter. Even though 99.9% all of that is just fails, right? So people are like, oh, I want to become pirate. Then somebody shows them the actual video, like what happens to the pirates every single second, right? When they're on the sea, all the disease and all the, crap that they put up with, and they're like, oh, this is not what I envisioned. But yeah, same thing with the treasure hunting. You will find nothing. Maybe you'll find something. There's a Grand Tour episode, I remember, right? One of those specials where they want to hunt something. I don't know, was it a cross or something, golden cross or something, right? Obviously, they know they're not going to find anything. They're just having fun with it. But among every time you see them, that's the best thing about those three, right? It's like when you go out with your friends, how would you conduct things, right? How would you go about things? That's what you feel when they watch them. And it's so fucking awesome. They find nothing, right? They go through all this crap. Their cars get broken down. I remember, when I, me and my friends, when we were teenagers, right? There's a town here where I live. There's supposed to be a, God's city, let's just say, that, crashed down, right? It just went to the sea, right? It's close to the sea. So went into the sea, and there were a lot of golds there, right? There's this thing, lots of gold is buried there, this and that, right? There's like myth type of thing. And me and my friends, I remember one day we went there like, okay, we're going to get this kind of a tug type of boat, right? Raggedy boat, and we'll go for a hunt and this and that, right? So we went all the way, we prepared for everything, we went all the way to the boat, and I remember just standing there looking at this kind of a fucked up boat basically, and looking in the horizon in the sea, and I'm like, what, nah man, this is just too much, right? We've lost our fucking minds and we just backed out of there.
I would quite like to get into pigeon racing.
Okay.
I met a guy who bred and raced pigeons.
Okay.
And it is fascinating. They'll race these things over, like 400 kilometers.
Oh, wow.
And it'll come like down to the wire.
Yeah.
It is really cool the way they
Gun
breed
made that
these
video as well.
particular pigeons, and like, oh, well, you know, this one has particular stamina, but this one has a lot of speed.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you can keep pigeons basically the same way you keep chickens, but they just sit there and make this noise like,
That's a really good pigeon noise.
oh, thank you. Instead of like,
basic.
like a chicken does, right? And chickens are awful and they stink, but pigeons are just like, hey, I'm purring like a cat, you know?
I also don't like pigeons, but I will give you that they are quieter and less smelly than chickens.
Yes.
Possibly less tasty too, though. But my only issue with something like pigeon racing is because it's, I'm assuming, of somewhat of a niche sport. I would feel like I'd want like cool video game stats involved. You know, like if I was going to be breeding these little suckers, I'd want to have like a UI where I can be like, here's this guy's speed rating out of 10.
They do that.
Like a
They do
game.
that.
What the fuck?
They have these little ankle bracelet things, and then they have like a QR code on them, and then they have like these websites online that take all of their stats and track them by GPS and do all this stuff. It's like crazy.
That's like sports stats, but for birds.
And you know what? Here's how you race a pigeon, right?
You throw it really hard.
You go to the starting line, and then you let it go, and then you sit in a chair having a few drinks, and then someone's going to call you on the phone in a few hours and tell you that you won or lost. It's brilliant.
Oh, man. The thought of that is really funny.
Yeah, and it's like, once you win, then you can put this pigeon out to stud like a bull. This one's the fastest. Well, now it's worth like 100 grand. Come on. And you put it in a cage with like 200 female pigeons.
And you play romantic pigeon music.
Yeah, exactly. And you know that this is just going to be the greatest moment of this pigeon's life. It's fucking hilarious.
My problem is pigeons suck, and I think something like
Showing finger to pigeon. Yes, this very the tweed suit wearing people type of sport, right? Just sit around with the tweed suits, you know, drinking wine. Oh, did they win? No, they didn't. I should invest in a better pigeon then. Yeah. I remember Top Gear episode where they did that. I guess it was very old, like 7th season. I don't remember. Out of 20 seasons that they did, right? Where they actually raced with the pigeon. It was surprising. Like, holy shit, pigeons are really accurate. As far as pigeon not smelling, right? You know, in my house, basically, you know, I did renovation in past 2-3 years. It took 2-3 years because of fucking COVID, right? It was hell. As soon as it was a mid-renovation and COVID hit, and that's it. It took a major pause. But, you know, I renovated and extended, you know, like second floor, basically, right? So a room below me, basically, where I'm right now, on the top floor, room below me, there is a balcony and everything, but it was abandoned completely because there was lots of, you know, dirt there. It was renovation. And, you know, pigeons made a home in the balcony right now, right? And I still didn't, it's still, you know, bad down there. I still didn't completely renovate it, paint it and clean it. So floor below me is just completely dirty, including the, you know, balcony. So there are lots of pigeon here, right? Even here where I am in my balcony, pigeon just crapped everywhere. That's the problem, and crap smells like hell. I have to clean every 2-3 days, wash it all completely. Even outside of my house, it just smells. So I don't know how much chicken smells. I've never been around chicken, you know, coop or whatever they are, right? But pigeon not smelling, that's not right. Everything's closed, not even window is open, and pigeon shit will smell inside.
like a hawk or something seems way cooler to breed.
Hawks are pretty cool. Well, hawks are the natural enemy of the pigeon, you see.
They're enemy of all birds.
So what you're saying is I should breed hawks and you should breed pigeons.
No.
We'll see who wins.
No, keep yours away from my... It's not fair. Ad time. World of Tanks sponsorship. Sandra, have you heard about this new free-to-play MMO with over 160 million players? The best thing about World of Tanks is not just that it's free, which it is that they're continuously pumping out new content. Like an old drainpipe in the Philippines, there's a constant flow of content into the greater ocean. Did you know you can enjoy World of Tanks on a console or on the mobile phone? All you have to do is call up this number and you tell them where you want to move. Yeah, go 5 yards forward. Fire. Did I hit him?
That's a hit.
Now, Sandra, this game is set in the post-apocalypse. All of the animals have gone extinct except for the tank. But then a world war breaks out between them.
Hey, Mohammed, I heard there's only one tank in the whole game.
That's not true, Sandra. In fact, there are lots of different classes of tank. You can be a healing tank, you can be a stealth tank, you can even be a druid tank. This is downtown London, before any sort of conflict happened. Boy, this really reminds me of a war I can't mention.
Yeah, World of Tank is gonna become reality pretty soon, the way things are going, right? Oh, look at that, I'm in London playing with tanks. Yeah, that's actually happening. Yeah, if that happens, everybody's fucked.
Sandra, so go to the link below and use the code COMBAT. We'll give you a Cromwell B premium tank, 250,000 credits, 7 days World of Tank premium account time, plus 3 rental premium tanks. By the way, they sent us some promo stuff, and some of these are like ads that have Arnold Schwarzenegger in them and Mila Jokovic and Chuck Norris. I don't know why they sent me this, but it's brilliant. Look at this.
I like all three of them. One of is like old action star, right? Look at that face. Old action star, like just pump out action movie, Chuck Norris, whatever. Then there's Arnold in the middle, right? Who just pumped out those kind of movies. And then Mila, I guess Resident Evil one, right? She also made a lot of movies. I don't even remember actually. Like, I don't know, something, yeah. All the Resident Evils, one with the Bruce Willis and things. So all the action stars basically.
Also, they collaborate with Girls und Panzer.
Oh, I actually like that one. And same with Valkyria Chronicles. It's a good game. You know, Sandra, I heard they're adding a dating sim to World of Tanks. Oh, Cromwell Summer. My barrel is all filled with ash and debris. Take this pipe cleaner and go to town. Sandra, how come you're in that tank right now?
I don't know.
Oh, stop. You're destroying the whole set.
Oh no!
So click on the link in the description below and use code COMBAT to get a whole bunch of stuff. Look at this stuff.
Here's a natural snack.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure War Thunder is better than World of Tank, right? Just mechanics, the engine, the world, I don't know. I never played those.
Over. I know what the worst hobby is.
What?
Candle making.
Really?
Oh, what's the fucking point? Go down to the store and buy a big candle for $1, or if you want a scented one, they're everywhere. Like, I don't understand why people are making their own candles. There's one fun part about candle making, which is that you can dip your hand in the...
It's that, desire, like not being, not to rely on the world too much. So even the basic things, you make it yourself as a hobby. Right, it's that kind of mentality that makes it more appealing. But otherwise, many things that people make themselves, but it's really annoying and it's very cheap and very abundant to get outside. But they just do it for why not?
Hot wax, and then you've got like a claw thing that you can start peeling away.
It is surprising that isn't some kind of therapeutical thing, because it seems like somewhere like, have you been to the wax dipping?
Yes, yeah, they've got those smoke pots and acupuncture and shit. Why don't they have wax dipping?
That's the perfect massage thing, because it kind of hurts, like a lot of those kind of treatments. Acupuncture, massaging, there's like a pain element to them, but there's also like a satisfaction element to them, where afterwards you feel like and then afterwards your skin would probably feel real like moisturized or something.
Yeah, because you would sweat.
Trains, on the other hand, I could see trains, because trains are like, that's a bit of a novelty. Like an old train's kind of cool to ride on.
There's this park in Melbourne, and it's got like this tiny train. And there's a little conductor dude that sits at the front, and he just gives rides like all day.
That's awesome.
I was enjoying the hell out of that, and I understood it all of a sudden.
So you're just suddenly all the cynicism that went into your early videos washes away. That's why you only upload twice a year now.
Yes, and I'm just too obsessed with trains now. Is that the DC-45? Running on time, I see.
Would you tie a woman to the tracks? Do you reckon that? Do they ever do that? Is that a real thing someone did?
I would presume so. I would presume that's a pretty good way of taking someone out.
That has to be one of the most horrible way. Like, you're going to be mincemeat 100% chance. There's no...
Yeah, because first of all, the body will not be where you left it. Chances of finding evidence is very remote. People don't walk around railways, I'm guessing, a lot, because it's a railway. What if a train comes? So somebody, spotting you is also very rare. I don't know. But it is really fucked up to see this. Right? Yeah, but there are many people. Obviously, people have hobbies of railways. You'll find a lot of videos on YouTube where just people just videographing just railways just going from point A to point B. It can be really therapeutic in a way if you just watch those videos when you're just like tired of all the noise pollution, all the crap, you just sit down and watch just trains go by. Why the hell not?
No way you're getting out of that.
Throw that one up, Jamie. Does anyone ever get tied to the railroad tracks? When did they start using the guillotine? That was around the 1700s, wasn't it? And that's like the same time that the train was around. Why didn't they just use the train?
Well, a bit messier to clean up, I think. You can't
Because
just have
in
a train
France,
running
I
around
don't
covered
think
in
it was
gore
that
all
many
the
trains.
time.
Yeah, true.
You know what's crazy about the guillotine is the last, government-issued guillotining in France happened when the first Star Wars movie was in theaters.
Yeah, I was going to say it's like the 1970s or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like way later than you'd think.
Yeah. Do you reckon it hurts?
I actually...
After his adoption, the device remained France's standard method of judicial access until abortion of Cameroon in 19. You are shitting me right now. Really? They used to kill people all the way to 1977 with guillotine in France? What the fuck, man? I just thought that after, French Revolution, it slowly died out. 1977, that's like nothing. Like, he said, like, yeah, Star Wars is around Star Wars. What the fuck? That's just like not that long ago. So you're telling me 1977, there was a guy who actually, like, people like, oh, he's on death row, Because I feel like in past a century or something, even on death row, people are starting to, basically as science progress, people are starting to think like maybe we should find more humane ways to kill people or whatever. Guillotine does not even come close to being human. I'm pretty sure they had many options by then. But they still went with guillotine. That's just fucked up.
1970s or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like way later than you'd think.
Yeah. Do you reckon it hurts?
I actually think about that more often than I should. Because they say that your brain activity still kicks around for a good, 30 seconds afterwards.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
Do you reckon you're just like, fuck. Well, this sucks.
Well, you'd land in the basket and then you'd be all nauseous, right? Because you'd be like, you'd spin and then land upside down. And you'd be like, my face is right up against this wicker. This is terrible.
Yeah, this just sucks.
Then you might be a bit bored for a little while, like just waiting to die.
It's something I have to do later.
Okay, what would be the worst part about getting guillotined? Because I suppose the blade is quick, at least.
All right, look. I don't think it is like people say it is, right? Because look, very simple things put you in shock, right? That's how our brain is. When our brain's sensors get overloaded, it goes into shock. Your brain just stops recording memory. I don't know what it is, but you just go into shock. Lots of people get in some kind of an accident, right? And that portion is completely blank to them. Right? If you fall down a bike, you break your leg, and it's really, you were in really speed and you just fall down. People just wake up, get woken up in a hospital. They don't even remember what happened as soon as the bike started to crash. They have no memory of that shit. People sometimes get shot and don't remember it. So I think if this happens with guillotine, yes, your brain activity is still there. Maybe you'll blink your eyes or whatever, but I don't think you know that. By that point, as soon as the blade goes down, you're in shock. You just go blank, right? Just because you're, part of the brain that you don't control is still working, doesn't mean you are still there. I think as soon as the blade go down, you're done, right? Even if you're alive, your head is alive, your consciousness is not feeling it, and you will start to die out. That's what I think.
There would be a moment just before you put your head in it that you get really close to the guillotine and you kind of have this thought that's like, oh, this is really dangerous.
I shouldn't
Do you
be
know
doing
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like when you get too close to it, like a bandsaw or
You get like a
something
tingle in your
glass.
hand.
Yeah. Oh, I've got it. Right. So what you do is underneath you want to have a bit of a lever, like a seesaw, and then you have the basket there. So the moment it cuts through, your head falls off, it launches your head straight into the air, and then it's kind of like, whoa, I get to see the whole crowd.
That'd be the worst if it only cut through halfway.
Yeah, or it gets stuck, and then they
you
try
have to pull it up again.
And then that's pulling your neck as well.
And they just kind of they just stand above it and just kick the back of your head.
We're going to need a couple fellas just to jump up and down on the blade, please. Oh, here's the problem. You tied a bloody knot in the rope. It's caught against it's like caught against the wooden beam.
This is very morbid.
Sorry, I'm just thinking about other ways to do the guillotine. Because you could have them at the very top.
You drop them onto the...
Yeah. Or you have an enormous spring underneath the blade, so everyone has to kind of pull, and then it goes off.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like you're loading. This feels like if like as seen on TV, infomercials invented a guillotine. Like, aren't you sick and tired of that normal guillotine? And they invent this weird double-sided guillotine that can like cut.
It slices, it dices, and only 3 payments of $39.95 plus postage. And the old person tries to drop the blade, but then they just kind of fall over, and then they're
Yeah. They try and pull on the rope, and then they just immediately go and turn to the camera, like holding their wrist. What about one that's like a fan, and it's like
oh yeah, so you just keep sliding people through it.
like a conveyor, and have them turned into little slices.
Oh yeah, that would be quite nice. Yeah, we're essentially describing a deli slicer, but yeah.
Electric chair, that sounds pretty bad, but I feel like it'd be pretty quick.
Okay, so how do we improve the electric chair? I'm thinking what you do is instead
would
of
it
one
be
big
quick?
shock, just thousands of little shocks.
They just randomly occur all over your body.
Yeah, it's like you're constantly licking a 9-volt battery.
Yeah.
What if they just tape the battery to your tongue and then walk away and go,
It does 1 damage at a time, but eventually, well, that's just death by 1,000 cuts, but it's death by 1,000 small shocks.
oh, fuck.
I wonder if you did just cover someone in wet 9-volt batteries, like whether you would die from starvation or like electrical current.
I think eventually, like, your muscles must just give out.
But it's like the muscles, it'll be your heart or brain that like gives
Yeah,
up.
yeah, your heart would give out. Yeah, that would be it. Yeah. You'd just get overexerted.
Yeah, okay, hold on. What if electrical chair, but there's a phone to play Family Guy on it while you die?
All right. So even if you have a lot of fat on your body, you'll get starved out fast because your body consumes muscles first, right? When it's in panic mode like that. And since your heart is muscle, your heart would give out basically. Right? You wouldn't have enough nutrients to go on. So it's usually always the heart. Heart always gives out. Because if your heart was more stronger than that, could be more resilient than that, wasn't made out of muscle, like something that just can be resilient, a lot of things that are fatal might not be after that. But yeah, that's basically what happens.
What if like, oh shit, I just lost it.
Did the Family Guy phone flashbanged you?
Throwing flashbang.
It just wiped your brain like a Men in Black clicker.
Yeah.
Imagine a Men in Black if instead you didn't see anything and they held up Family Guy Funny Moments compilation.
One of those things that I got interested in for quite a while was oysters.
By the way, this is a video called Hobbies, and somehow they went all the way to Guillotine, how to kill a man. I don't know. Yeah, there you go. That's the magic of this.
Oysters.
Yeah.
Oysters.
Yeah, I just thought they were really interesting.
You went on oysters.com?
I don't know what that is. It won't be good though. And I went to this oyster tour in Tasmania, and they were just telling about all these like really interesting things about oysters. So yeah, you have these piles and piles of shells. We would burn them and turn them into lime. Oh, really? Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, so anyway, most oysters are about 7 years old, and here's how they mate.
Let me get some of that oyster-see. Yeah. I think it's a clam, not an oyster, but there's a picture where like they put a bunch of salt in front of a clam and its big gross tongue like flops out and licks up all the salt.
Ugh.
Have you seen that?
No.
Let me find that. It is interesting.
Pull that one up, Jamie. It's doing it.
Isn't that fucked up?
Yeah, they're pretty awful.
I just want to fucking slam my fist down on it when its tongue's out.
Do you reckon it pulls its tongue out and goes, ooh, salty?
Yeah, well, that's because if it hated salt, but then like it also has to use its tongue as its like primary means of transportation, so it has to like put its tongue in the salt to get away from the salt. It's kind of like it's like a saw trap almost.
Yes, why hasn't anyone done saw but for animals? Yes. You're always poking your tongue out at people. Well, now there's salt around and stuff.
What if there was a Saw movie where he just did it to like innocuous animals? No one gave a shit about like clams and like deep sea anglerfish.
You're always just swimming around in the dark. Now you're sellotaped to a 800-watt light bulb. He's having like a mussel and clam stew, but he throws them all in a pot and then turns the water on to boil. And he goes, here I have set up a trap. You must escape before the water boils. But he always intended just to have a stew.
Yeah, exactly. He just watches as they boil because they're fucking like clams. They can't do anything.
Now comes the warm butter.
If you do not escape in 10 seconds, you'll be enveloped in fresh cream, which will permeate into your lungs and tongue, rendering you unable to move. What's an animal you would like to see?
Then it zooms out and shows that they are in just in a kitchen of some hotel or something. Like, what the fuck are you doing back there? Where's the food?
In a saw trap.
Sometimes I see those birds that are like, they're usually water birds, and they've got these very long, slender legs. I just think, God, that would be satisfying just to walk over and be like, snap that.
Jesus.
You know what
Seriously,
I mean?
you're
Like, no,
followed
I don't
now.
actually want to hurt it, but
Like a breadstick.
Yeah, it's kind of, I'm not going to, but it's kind of like, you know, when your mate is
I think he did already in the past, I bet.
showing off a brand new pencil.
Oh, yeah, and you just...
And he's like, I love this thing. I've sharpened it perfectly. And you just want to reach over and snap it. In my head,
So
all
he's
that
one of
stuff
those
is
people.
absolutely hilarious.
You're one or two people like that in school, right? I was like, what the fuck did you do that? I don't know, just cause.
In real life, one time there was this mouse that got caught in a mouse trap at our place, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't finish him, so I had to let him go free in the park.
Yeah, I couldn't bring myself to do that either. I feel like my problem with Saw is, or just any horror movie really, which is another hobby a lot of people seem to love that I just don't understand. The people never deserve it.
No.
Which I guess is kind of the point, but when it's like, oh, just some teacher who didn't like appreciate their family enough or something, it's like this person doesn't deserve to have their like face cut in half.
Yeah, no. That's a sort of lesson that you would learn over.
When you throw out word like deserve, right? I mean, this is when philosophy enters in, right? A great philosopher always convinced, like, do anybody deserve anything? Who are we to kill somebody, this and that, right? The point of Saw is just the point that they said, right? If you make a video, if you make a movie about that, about animals, the result is the same. It's not interesting. But if you make that about humans, it's like, are you going to escape, this and that? So it's intrigue there, right? Like, yeah, so the whole thing was stupid. I didn't saw the original Saw, right? But I'm pretty sure there was some kind of a scary movie that used that. And after that, I saw the actual movie, right? I don't know which one was that. But yeah, it's really fucked up to see it.
Over the course of a lifetime to like appreciate your family. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that one's gonna work itself out.
You've just given them PTSD. You haven't solved anything.
Oh yeah, the movie, right? I saw a clip or something on YouTube and I definitely want to watch this movie. It looks fun so far.
One time I dungeoned and dragoned.
Okay, interesting. When was this?
I was invited to do some D&D stuff back in the university days. I showed up on a Saturday. It was about 1 in the afternoon, and we were there
Satan
until
worshippers.
about 7 o'clock, and we had to call it quits at 7 o'clock because the host's mum was coming home then. In that 6 hours, I think we managed to play
at
for
the hand
about
outside the window.
an hour. And then the other 3 hours were spent setting up the game, and the other 2 arguing about the rules.
So you had the authentic experience, is what you're saying?
I am amazed that anyone gets to do more than about 15 minutes of gaming per 4-hour session. You got any D&D story? You ever kill a man?
I remember one time I went to a card store to buy some cards, and they were having like their weekly D&D night where like a whole...
So yeah, this D&D do feel like one of the hobby type of things, same as I guess Warhammer tabletop. Because in Warhammer, I'm guessing the people mostly just collects these figurines and just paint them. That's the most of things. Actually, playing tabletop might not be top of their list. Basically, they maybe do it sometimes, sure, sometime here and there. But it's mostly just collecting things, painting them, just things like that. Same way people, I think I'm one of them who basically build PCs, right? Trial and error, building and improving. That's more than actually using it. So yeah.
whole bunch of different tables are all set up for people to play D&D.
Yeah.
And there's a guy sitting at one of them who had head to toe full Deadpool merch on.
Oh.
He had a Deadpool hat, he had a Deadpool jumper on, the jeans, I believe, probably just regular jeans, but they were black to fit with the color scheme. Yeah. And then he had red and black sneakers, which I don't know if they were Deadpool branded, but they were definitely, continuing the color scheme.
You know what? Maybe it was like a bad coincidence. Like, maybe these are all the things he doesn't usually wear. Because, okay, this happened to me once, right? Somehow, when I was like 11, I think my mum had bought me a camouflage shirt and camouflage shorts. And so, like, my dad, right, he kind of wanted me to be a bit of a snob for some reason when I was a kid, right?
Yeah.
So he used to take me to the driving range all the time. And I remember looking in my closet and going, I don't have anything except this camouflage shirt and these camouflage shorts that I never wear. And so I just had to wear both of those. And so I looked like I was going to the military at age 11. And I remember distinctly, like, we were waiting to go in and there's these two absolute strangers who walk by in the other direction and they salute. And I just died. That's probably what happened to this dude.
Yeah. I guess that could happen, right? I mean, he probably bought those Deadpool things and he came at a point where he didn't have anything. Maybe, good clothes were in, washing machine or whatever. I just didn't have any clothes. I'm like, fuck it. I'll wear all this. Yeah, it does make a scene, right? When you wear matching things in a casual outing, like you go golfing or whatever, or play D&D or whatever, it just feels weird.
I think I would like to retire to a small town in Tasmania called Launceston.
Oh, he's Australian, right?
And one of the reasons is I was there and I was walking around downtown and, oh, neat, looks like a Warhammer store. So I went in and I bought a book, which I never read. And then I went back out and then I walked 2 stores down and then all of a sudden another comic book store.
Okay.
And I'm like, hey, that's brilliant. There's like 2 of these in a very small town.
Isn't there also
and then I walked around the corner of the block and there was like one of those war games stores right there. It was all within like 100-yard radius. It was brilliant.
I'd love to find like a real nerdy town that you're just like, yeah, we're really nerdy, so what?
Yeah, we don't reproduce.
We just make a commune in the highlands of Tasmania and we just ship in Warhammer and D&D.
Yeah, when I was a little, right, when PC gaming wasn't that big of a thing, at least where I am, right, and not everybody was getting consoles, so there were gaming parlors, right, every few feet here and there. And as a kids, I remember we just basically used to hang around there a lot. People playing Counter-Strikes basically on LAN with each other on these parlors and shit. There are PlayStations, Xboxes, and people just playing the shit out there. Those are arcades there as well.
Absolutely. And then we set up like a cross between an internet cafe and a deli, but we only let our friends in and then everybody gets free deli meats, right? And then eventually one of us becomes the mayor. I actually Googled once the current mayor of Launceston and I thought, you know what, I could at least take this guy in a fight.
Yeah,
Easy.
Which is how they settle the mayorship in Tasmania.
Yeah, that's right. You stand in the middle of the triangle that intersects the 3 war game stores.
Yeah, and you have the ultimate war game. I've never fucking understood Yu-Gi-Oh! Because half my friends play it, but like you look at one of those cards and it is just a novel, man. It is like...
I have only ever seen the show, and that thing does not seem to have any rules at all.
Yeah, those motherfuckers just making shit up on the fly.
You can't use 2 beast cards in one deck without sacrificing at least a spirit card. And you, what? Who? Where did that happen? And then Yu-Gi-Oh! Immediately does it anyway without sacrificing the spirit card. And then he looks like he's, oh no, Yugi, you've lost all your life points. But then he's like, hold on a minute. I've got the heart of the cards. What does that mean? And then all of a sudden his poor life points come back.
He just pulls out a gun.
Did you ever watch Yu-Gi-Oh?
I did. I was obsessed with it as a kid.
So basically this show doesn't explain jack shit and just makes things up. Is that it? I have this card. I have a fucking shotgun. All right, you win.
But you're right. It has such little bearing on the actual game. I like to imagine the card designers just saw every episode come out and they're just like, fuck, how are we going to keep up with, like, because obviously kids are going to buy the decks being like, I want to do Yuki's cool move.
Blue Eyes White Dragon, please.
I remember as a kid looking up the cards and the descriptions are completely different to the show and being really disappointed. I also think some kids stole my cards. I'm not sure
I know who it was. It was that goddamn Kaiba.
The goddamn Kaiba came to rural New Zealand and stole my dick that was probably worth $20 maximum.
He held your grandfather to ransom, and he wanted your Dark Wizard card. I think Yugi
Grandfather was on
has
it.
I don't know if his name is
was in on
Yu-Gi-Oh!
it.
or Yugi.
His name's Yugi, and then when he turns into the version of him that's trapped in the Millennium Puzzle, he's Yummy Yugi.
I forgot about that, the Millennium Puzzle.
Yeah.
And don't forget the Millennium Eye, Yug.
And that's right, there he can like see under Yugi's clothes with it or something.
His facial expression would just change when he goes between the two. He had the most bizarre hair of any anime character I've ever seen. It was like, what is even happening?
Yeah,
with that? It's
yeah.
like 3 different colors, and
Wait
it's
a minute,
almost
I
a
thought he was wearing
pyramid.
a
At
hat.
least like most anime characters here, it's like stupid, but you're like, okay, theoretically with enough hair gel, you could make that happen, like Cloud's hair or something.
Yeah.
Like that's just a blonde guy with spiky, like shaped hair. And then Joey's just from Brooklyn for some reason, even though it's like,
All right. I understand anime, right? People love anime, this and that, whatever. But seriously, anime is blown up so much that even, your basically normal open world RPG games have this kind of a weird shitty hair like no one would ever wear in a public outing ever in real world. I'm like, why the fuck would I have this hair in this game which has nothing to do with anime, supposed to mimic the real world? Just
Japan.
Yeah. Wasn't this in a video?
Yeah, I also did a video on this. Sorry.
Yeah.
Which you can click on the top right.
Yeah,
corner of the
don't
screen
do
right
that.
now.
Don't do that. Don't click on that. All right, listen up, Minicudas. I've got your granddad. I'm going to expose him to my gamma radiation card.
I'm gonna play a mountain and tap it and cast lightning bolt on your
Are you
foreskin.
turning Egyptian right now?
You've already done this joke before. Don't make me do blackface.
You're just in denial, Minicudas.
Man, you need to start finding someone else to do these.
All right, thanks for being on. I'll catch you later.
Oh, we'll see you at, we got D&D tonight, and then you said you're coming around for Magic tomorrow.
My mum's coming home soon. I gotta go.
We've got Yu-Gi-Oh! The day after that, and then we're going to be watching Game of Thrones the day after that. Warhammer, I think, is booked in on Sunday.
I've got some terrible news.
Oh,
This is historian,
oh,
internet historian's wife.
oh, okay. That's,
He has died. He won't be able to make any of those appointments. Don't contact this number again.
I'm
Goodbye.
at your door looking at you, though.
Goodbye.
We've
Please respect
been
our privacy.
We've been talking face to
in this
face.
time of bereavement.
I'm looking at you.
Goodbye. Do not forget World of Tanks.
Up there we go. Yeah. I know people love D&D, but if I were back then, and I'm pretty sure I would have gotten into Warhammer more than D&D, I guess. Because Warhammer is just fucking awesome. Whenever something does too much, that's when you have to start to have fun, and it's too dark, right? Warhammer is too dark and too big, is always going to be fun. I bet there are people who are like extreme Warhammer fans and knows the lore and still don't know a lot of things, basically. That's how big it is. But yeah. Alright, well, that was the hobbies by the channel Incognito Mode, Internet Historian, whatever. If you like my reaction, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.